All right, clap it up. Okay. Welcome to Baltimore. It's the ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. This is One West News Desk out of Baltimore under Captain Sapari. I'm holding it down for Captain Sapari. I'm Officer Mathum. What we're going to do today, we're going to talk about what's going on around town, internationally, and wherever we got some news at. We talk news and see what's happening and see what's going on with our people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of news, happening right now, and we're going to get into a couple of things, It's nice and hot outside now, Brothers are coming outside, sisters are coming outside, everybody is having a good time, enjoying this hot weather. And enjoying this hot weather, our brothers and sisters are enjoying the hot weather maybe a little too much, Of course, y'all know about the overdose that happened to the brothers and sisters over there on Pennsylvania Avenue, north in Pennsylvania. You understand? It's an area where we actually had a food and a clothing drive a few months back. You understand? It's a rough neighborhood, and it's one of the most notorious neighborhoods known for the drug activity that goes on around there. Well, I know maybe last week or the week before we had about 25, almost 30 people fall out from a drug overdose, which is a natural occurrence, and it's sad to say in Baltimore City. These are things that happen, you understand? And being in this wicked nation and being under the foot of our oppressor, these drugs have not been brought into Baltimore by our own hand. These drugs have actually been pushed into our neighborhoods by the system that we're living under. You understand? And it's kind of hard to believe, but a lot of people believed it when that Iran-Contra scandal happened back in the early 80s. You understand? Under Ronald Reagan. You understand? Ronald Reagan had drugs shipped into our neighborhoods to make money off of us so that he could do the whole Iran-Contra scandal, selling weapons to the Iranians and all types of stuff happening. You understand what I mean? But this is a product or a piece of the product of that action. You understand? This is not by our hand. You understand? But being like our oppressor, we want to indulge in the things that our oppressor indulges in. And our oppressor is the one that indulges in the drugs. You understand? And being like our oppressor, we indulge in those drugs too. And indulging in those drugs, you understand, umpteen years later or decades later, now we got brothers and sisters, which it was happening before. Remember, Ronald Reagan is really one of the ones who pioneered and ushered in that crack era. You understand? When he began to push crack into all the black neighborhoods in America. You understand? Under Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan, his wife. At the same time, they had a drug campaign a slogan that they used, saying "Say no to drugs." You understand what I'm saying? Say no to drugs, but at the same time, they're pushing those same drugs into our neighborhoods. So right now, we're gonna read this article. We're gonna find out what's going on, because as we do know, brothers and sisters fell out last week or a week and a half ago, and then it happened again. You understand? I think it was about 5 or 6 more people in the same area. The same thing happened. You understand? So let's read this. It says, Baltimore police launched second investigation into Penn North overdose. This is the second time it happened. You understand? The Baltimore Police Department has initiated a second criminal investigation into overdoses in the Penn North neighborhood after 7 more individuals showed signs of overdose on Friday. That was just Friday, just passed. You understand? And it's funny how They use these opportunities again to make money off of us. Having an investigation into the drugs that you forced into our neighborhoods. All of these police that you have on the street, especially in the Penn North neighborhood. You can hardly go anywhere without seeing the police in the Penn North neighborhood. So in the Penn North neighborhood, if 25 to 30 people overdosed the week and a half ago, and then 7 more people overdosed again, how are these drugs getting into their hands in the streets of Baltimore, right there at North and Penn? How is that happening? Well, it's happening by happenstance. It's not by Salakia. It's not by happenstance. You understand? It's by design. And this is what our oppressor does to us. You understand? He drops these drugs into our neighborhood by design to destroy us. And right now they're winning. They're up. The oppressor's up. You understand? Because we're taking those drugs. All right, let's get back into this article. This incident occurred at the same location as the previous mass overdose earlier this month, which resulted in at least 27 people being hospitalized. Investigators are currently working to determine the substance involved in the drugs and whether the 2 overdose events are connected. Listen, our oppressor knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what's in those drugs. You understand? He knows what's going to happen when those drugs hit the street. This is how they make more money on top of that. Money into the investigation. Now you're going to take the taxpayers' money and pay people to investigate something that you already know about. It's not like they chasing the person who put the drugs on the street. If they're chasing the person who put the drugs on the street, that's like a dog chasing his tail. They only going to be chasing themselves. They're only going to be chasing themselves. Listen, the Baltimore City government knows exactly how much drugs are on the streets, in the streets of Baltimore. Listen, if I'm not mistaken, in 2019 or 2020, they caught a big shipment of cocaine coming into the Philadelphia port in July of 2020, either 2019 or 2020. On the same day, right here in Baltimore City, at the port of Baltimore City. Now, it was 33,000 pounds. And what was 33,000 pounds? 3,300 pounds or something like that in the port of Philadelphia. And they got 330 pounds right here in Baltimore City, all on the same day. All on the same day. They made a drug bust in Philadelphia and in Baltimore City on the same day. Now, anytime they make a big drug bust like that, it's not an exciting thing to be excited about. You understand? And I'm saying it in this term because they allow a certain amount of drugs to be stopped and seized into custody so that they can put it on TV and act like they're doing their job. They put it on TV and act like they're doing their job so that the people can be satisfied. All the while, 3 shipments get through. 1 shipment gets picked. 3 shipments get through. All the way through the pandemic, everything shut down. Damn near everything shut down. But the drug market, you understand? Because they know exactly what's coming into the port. They know exactly when it. I mean, think about this. Of all the things that come into the port, all of those containers that come into the port, all of a sudden, you got an inkling in your spirit, in your bones, that I believe it's drugs coming in. And then you make a jackpot hit just by happenstance. This is to justify having the police department. This is to justify having the DEA, this is to justify having all of the drug agencies converge on the spot. And now we have reason to understand why we're paying them. All the while, like I said, one gets busted and three get through. Do the math. That's how it works. You understand? Drugs, everything shuts down during the pandemic except for drugs. Drugs is always on the street somewhere. You understand? And like I said, that drug bust happened in Philadelphia and Baltimore on the same day. If I'm not mistaken, it was in July 2019 or 2020 that it happened. On the same day in Baltimore. You can look it up. I think they said it was like, it had to be like 20 million for Philadelphia. 20 million, it was a lot. Could have been more than that because I could be wrong, but I do remember. You understand? And that's something to keep note of. You understand? Our oppressor is the biggest drug dealer on the face of this earth. Think about when they went into Afghanistan, they didn't go into Afghanistan looking for bin Laden. You understand? That was an excuse that they used. That 9/11 cover was something that they used to go into Afghanistan and take over those poppy fields. I'm not saying that 9/11 was a hoax, or I'm not getting into that 9/11 thing, but they used the 9/11 to get into Afghanistan to take over the poppy fields. If you ask anybody that was in Afghanistan in those days, they'll tell you most of the time they were guarding poppy fields. Why would you be guarding poppy fields? Because poppy is what you use to make different drugs in America. Poppy is what you use to put in to the substances that the brothers and sisters falling out off of in Penn North. This is what's going on. You understand? So investigators are currently working to determine the substances involved in the drugs, whether the two overdose events are connected. Of course, you know they're connected. Of course. And the thing about it, even with the drug bust they did in Philadelphia and in Baltimore, there were no arrests made. Just like in this Penn North thing, there will be no arrests made. Baltimore is basically like a petri dish. Understand this: when you have so many people falling out in an area at a particular time, and then it happens again, it's America experimenting on people. They drop those drugs into neighborhoods just to see what happens to the people, to keep the people in a stupor. You understand? Think about it. How hard is it to go down to Pennsylvania North and get drugs? It's not hard at all. So what's the whole investigation about? Why are you investigating? You should listen. Anybody can go down to Northern Pennsylvania and get drugs. This is why we say that this is not something that was created by us, but created by the oppressor. The oppressor puts these drugs into our neighborhoods to destroy our neighborhoods. Pennsylvania North looks the same way it did 30 years ago when I was living right there at Pennsylvania North Avenue. I lived 2 doors from the Fox's Den, which is a block up. Right there. You understand? Nothing has changed about Pennsylvania North Avenue. When I was living down there 30 years ago, 35 years ago, the same thing was happening. Nothing changed. Nothing's going to change. The only way we can change it is to stop using the oppressor's drugs. That's it. We got to get out there and we got to help each other. We got to help our people. So you mean to tell me almost 27 people fell out about 2 weeks ago, and then another 7 people fell out Friday. That's a petri dish. All they doing is experiment. And we're deciding to be the specimens that they're experimenting on. When we go down there and we take those drugs and we buy that weed and all of that stuff that they putting all these chemicals in now, we just participating and being a specimen in a petri dish. All they do is look back, wait till they come to the hospital and poke and prod on them to see what's going on, see what happened, see what changes happen to them, see what it makes them do, see how it makes them feel. Just think about it, right? If they can go down there that easily and 27 people can fall out and another bunch of other people can fall out about 2 weeks later, how hard is it to go down there to get the people that's selling the drugs? It's easy, but that's not what they want to do. Just what's happening is just what they want to happen. And not only that, this is how you destroy your people. You put people in poverty. You make it hard for people to work. You understand? And then you create all kinds of terrible conditions in that petri dish, and then all hell's gonna break loose. That's when you have a war zone. That's when these type of things happen. Now they have people on drugs, they have people selling drugs. So now you got people that you put into your rehab system that you know is not going to work. Then if you decide to address the people selling the drugs, now you have them in the system. So now you're getting paid in 3 different ways. You're getting paid by dropping the drugs into the neighborhood. You're having the people fall out in the neighborhood. Now you got them in programs that you know is not going to work, but are federally funded. So now you're getting federal funds on programs that you know are not going to work. And now you have people who are pushing your drugs, having them in the system and mixed up in the system, knowing that system is not going to work for them either. It's not going to stop them from selling drugs. All it is going to make them more hardened criminals. Well, here in the UPK, we change men like that on both sides, whether it be the drug dealer or the drug user. We change men like that. This, like I said, this stuff has been happening since I was down there, since I was living down there. It's nothing new about North and Pennsylvania Avenue. It has not changed. The spirit of Pennsylvania Avenue has not changed. Pennsylvania and Gold used to be the spot, and I believe it probably still is. Says the investigation coincides with an up-and-coming city listening session. A listening session. How many years have they been having listening sessions? They have listening sessions so you can vent how you feel, but they're not listening to you. All of the police you see going up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, up and down North Avenue, all in that area. And the same things are still happening. It just so happened this time it was a lot of people all at one time. Pennsylvania Avenue is always going to be Pennsylvania Avenue until we decide to change who we are. Meaning, coming out of the spirit of America, coming out of the spirit of Baltimore. A lot of us have that Baltimorean pride, and it's nothing wrong with that when you represent your people properly. But when you represent that spirit of Baltimore that destroys men, women, and children, and I'm speaking of Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, because if we see, it's damn near only us. Listen, the people, the oppressors that do come down there and get high, If they could not get high, you would not know them if you know any of them. If they couldn't get high, they wouldn't be down there. These are black ghettos, not white ghettos. There's no such thing as a white ghetto. The only reason why they're down there is to get high. That's it. If they were not getting high, they would not be around you. Point blank. It says the investigation coincides with an upcoming city listening session where the mayor and other partners will seek public feedback on the allocation of the city's opioid restitution fund and strategies to combat drug addiction. Listen, they've been saying that since I was a kid. They've been saying that since what's his name? What's the mayor that we had down here? What's the mayor of Baltimore City? The black mayor we had down here? Kurt Schmoke. Been saying that since Kurt Schmoke. Listening session. They damn near been saying it since Mayor Schaefer. But Mayor Schaefer had the city cleaned up. That's why they began to call it Charm City. You understand? Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Drugs were still here in Baltimore. But it was a clean city full of drugs. You understand? Dr. Joshua Scharfenstein, Vice Dean for Public Health Practice and Community Engagement at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, joined Fox 45 Morning News to weigh in. Weigh in on what? What can they really weigh in on? The problem has not changed. The problem has not changed. Their chit chat and their rhetoric has changed. The people in office has changed, but the problem has not changed. The problem is they don't want to make a change. This is where a lot of their money comes from. Funneling drugs into our neighborhoods so that the police department can get paid, the city councilmen can get paid, senators can get paid, the judicial system can get paid, judges, lawyers, bailiffs, and all of these people can get paid off of us. Drugs is a problem created to make a people rich. This is the reason why everybody, even people who grew up in these neighborhoods, know the solution. But when they get into, high seats and seats of authority and understand that this is a money-making scheme, everybody has their pockets open. This is the reason why the solution has never changed. Now, all you have to do is create a system in which you can't control your children, allow them to do what they want, allow them not to be able to excel, allow them to look at the streets as though this is my only solution. You put drugs into that equation, and this is what you get. This is a creation that was not created by us. This was created by our oppressor, thanks to the Christian church. All of these churches that we have in our neighborhoods and all of this money that goes and is funneled through these churches, and look at our neighborhoods. All of the programs that they supposedly have, and none of the programs help us. How many churches have a drug program, a rehab program that actually sends people away, that actually gets them real help? All of the billions of dollars that goes through the Christian church, and look at our neighborhood. Those billions of dollars come out of our pockets. And I mean that literally out of our pockets. You sit up in that church and you literally have to pay to get out of the church. You get dressed up to go to church, sing and dance, and give them your money. Pay to get out. Pay to get in a club. You pay to get out of church. Ain't that something? Ain't that crazy? Hey, what's going on, Princess Nazam Anna? I hope I said that right. Adolphus Last, what's going on? All right, it's good to see y'all up in here. Darlene, what's going on, sis? Good to have y'all up in here. You know, we got class at 7 o'clock. So once we done right here, we're gonna shut it down and I'm gonna set up for class, and we're gonna be getting started on class might be a little bit after 7, but we're gonna have class tonight too. It's gonna be history class. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Get up in the class so we can kick it. You understand? Get up in the class so we can kick it. Let y'all people know we on tonight. And I'm feeling good, you know. Got my little migraine medicine, got me feeling good. All right, let's drop that article. We're gonna hit another article. Right? Hey, listen, check this out. This was something I seen about, I didn't see Salakia. People talked about this about a week ago. I didn't see this interview with Barack Obama. But this is a wild coon right here. You understand? For an African, because he's not a nigger. You understand? He is not black. He's an African. You understand? Let's check this out. Listen to this, right? Because this is crazy. It says Barack Obama says boys need a queer role model. Barack Obama says boys need a queer role model, and talks gay college professor influencing him during his young adulthood. So he giving reverence to his gay college professor. This is what it says in this article. His gay college professor. Now, all boys need a queer role model. This is the reason why the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge was telling people that Obama was not the person we should be following. Listen, you can say a lot of big words and you can put words together and sound real good, but be stupid. A lot of us hear this rhetoric, we hear these big words, and we think it sounds good, and we think that it's right. But what these people say to us continually drags us down. And we continue to listen to them. Boys need men. Real men. And we're not talking about all boys. We're talking about Black, Hispanic, and Native. Because we don't care about the other nations. But Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives need real men. We don't need queers. We don't need to hear anything from a queer, a LGBTQ. That has never been us. Listen, it has been forced on us. This is the reason why they're bringing it into schools, to force it on young children, to make children believe that it's okay to be gay. That is not a part of our culture. That has never been a part of our culture. But if you look at how America has been pushing it on us for the last 4 decades, then you can begin to understand how the LGBTQ community capital went from San Francisco to Atlanta. You understand? If you look at how America pushes it on us, you can understand how the LGBTQ community went from San Francisco to Atlanta. Now, the face of the LGBTQ is Black America, is Hispanic America, is the natives. When all the while it has always been our oppressor. Always. Even all the way back to Roman Greco times, it has always been the oppressor. That is Greek culture. That is European culture. That boy-love relationship is them all the way. It has never been us. But we have taken on the culture. And this is something that we need to leave alone. Think about it, right? How can Barack Obama, a man who doesn't have boys, he doesn't have sons, can tell somebody that boys need a queer role model? How does that think about it, right? That's like a woman telling a man how to be a man. How can a woman tell a man how to be a man when most women don't even know how to treat a man? That's like a man trying to tell a woman how to be a woman. That's why you got all of these transformers walking around now, trying to tell women how to be women. How can a woman listen to a man tell her how to be a woman, how to be a better woman? Now, a man can tell you what he expects from you, but he can't tell you how to be a woman. But this is how we get all twisted up and we get all caught up in the oppressor's customs and culture. We get all Americanized, and now we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen, think about it, right? When I was a kid, it was taboo to be LGBTQ. If you were LGBTQ, you did not come out with it. And a lot of people really didn't know you were LGBTQ until you passed. Now it's Sodom and Gomorrah. Everybody's flaunting that LGBTQ, making you believe it's okay. And then the thing about it is, it used to be so taboo that people got hurt when it was found out. And now the whole thing has changed. And I'm not saying that it's right or that you should do that, but I'm just telling you how the culture was in the 70s into the early 80s. This was something that you kept it to yourself. And now it's being pushed on us. And now, instead of people ridiculing, now they're saying, well, that's his life. If that's what he want to do, then that's on him. You know, I don't got nothing to do with it. And this is how things run rampant in our communities. Now, think about this, right? When a man and a woman gets together, and they create life, they create a child. Well, think about this, right? When those people have urges to do something to somebody, and they get together with somebody, maybe who is not that, but who is naive to the situation, they're creating a new life for somebody, a destructive life. And this is the reason why they're forcing it on our children now. Think about this, right? They even trying to drop the pedophilia laws to age 12. You understand that they can, it's okay. What did they say? It's The consent, right? Consent. They have they at that age, it's okay. They have the consent power at that age. Who has at 12 years old? What does a child know at 12 years old? This is modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. We're actually in the middle of history right now. History is being molded right around us right now. History is being molded right around us right now. We're living as our history is being whitewashed again. We're being taken right out of the history books, and now they're trying to turn everybody and whitewash everybody into LGBTQ, into accepting LGBT. Think about this, right? You don't even have a choice to accept what you like and what you don't like. This is real democracy. What's going on, Alizar? This is real democracy. This is what democracy is. Everybody keeps talking about democracy. This is how democracy was spread. Listen, democracy was spread by the sword. Thievery and the sword. The Senate back in the Roman Greco times, they did the taxation of the people and drained the people of taxes the same way America's doing right now. They forced democracy on the people. It's the same thing that's happening right now. Everything that's being forced, the LGBTQ, all of this stuff, the drugs, everything is being forced on us. It's okay to be LGBTQ. Listen, think about this. Look at all of the pop-up shops that are popping up right now. Even before marijuana was legalized, we had 3 or 4 of them in our neighborhood already. The oppressor was already set up in the neighborhood, and it wasn't even legal yet. See, you can't trust the person who makes the rules and bends the rules. Then all of those brothers and sisters that got locked up, had marijuana charges, they still sitting in there. I'm not saying that it's right to sell marijuana, but if you're gonna make that legal, why not let the people go that you gave them bogus charges on? Now, we don't, in the ISUPK, we don't condone selling marijuana. We don't condone smoking marijuana or anything like that. But if you're going to make that legal, why not release the people that you put bogus charges on? I'm just saying. It's only right. It's only right. You know? Only right. What did I just do? Okay, there we go. I got to stop messing with this electronic. I'm not an electronic person. I'm trying not to touch nothing and mess nothing up. You understand? Men need to be in the houses with boys. Men need to be their role models, real men. And I'm talking about men that enjoy the company of women. Real women, not no trannies. You understand what I'm saying? Men that enjoy the company of a family. You understand? A man, woman, and child. You understand? Not a man, and a child, or a woman, and a child. Real families. And that's what we have to start remembering, because now what they're doing is trying to erase our minds and make us believe that the family consists of something that it does not consist of. A family is a man and a woman that can create children. 2 women cannot create children, and 2 men cannot create children. It's impossible. It has never happened in the history of historyism. That's a new word. Historyism. It has never happened in the history of historyism. I just made that up. Right. You understand? We got to understand that we are the salt of the earth. You understand? We are the true children of Israel. We are the strength of the earth. We are the light of the earth. And if we change and we make moves differently, the world changes. Right now, we're in the midst, in the beginning of World War III. Listen, I actually heard three oppressors say it last week for the first time. We're in the beginning of World War III. Listen, Command General Yohanna been saying that since January 6th. We're in the midst of World War III right now. It's time to put your belts on. It's time to pull your boots up, lace your boots up. You understand? Because it's on. Listen, and the war has already been brought to us. Them brothers and sisters that's falling out down in Pennsylvania and North, it's happening in other cities too. It's just not here. It's not only here in Baltimore. It's happening in cities all across America. They have to keep us stagnated. They have to keep us weak. But this is the reason why Commanding General Yohanna sends those warriors out on Saturdays and speaks to the brothers and sisters on the street to get the brothers and sisters to change their ways. This is what we do. This is what's going to make that change. Listen, we got food programs, we got prison programs, we got clothing programs. You understand? We got Sabbath service here, we got classes, and we got counseling. No other people got that. No other people got that and expect to make a change. You got people who have that and expect to make change, meaning they expect to make money off of it. But we are here to make change in our people. You understand? That's what we're here for. We're here to make the change in our people. Listen, we're supposed to be running the earth. The Bible tells us that we should be running the earth. But we have given our place to the oppressor. We have given authority over to the oppressor. And in doing that, the oppressor has his foot on our neck. We right in the midst of World War III right now. And a lot of our brothers and sisters don't know it. That's why they down in Pendorf doing what they're doing. That's why the brothers and sisters out here, unaliving each other in the way that they don't, because they don't know that we are at the end already. We already at the end. Listen, we at the beginning of the end. At the beginning of the end. This is the reason why God tells us we got to get ourselves together. Listen, it says, gather yourself together, ye gather together, O nation not desired. Listen, this is the time to come together. This is the time to gather. Understanding that those drugs have been put into our neighborhood by a nation of people that do not desire us. We keep thinking everybody loves us. Everybody loves black people. Everybody loves black people. No, they don't. No, they don't. It's the reason why the Bible tells us that. It's the reason why the Bible tells us never trust thine enemy. And a lot of us don't know who our enemy is. And because we don't know who our enemy is, we keep falling into the traps and the snares of our enemies. Keep believing that they're going to help us. Listen, I seen a little article earlier today. They showed two oppressors with a little black boy that they had adopted. They said they found the little black boy a couple of months later. They found his bones buried out in their backyard. This is what it has come down to. That's trusting the oppressor. All the oppressor had for us is death and destruction. That's it. Death and destruction is the only thing that they have for us. How long are we going to keep trusting in our oppressor? How long are we going to keep trusting in our enemy? Never trust our enemy. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Meaning, just like eventually iron shows its true properties, that those rust spots begin to pop up, showing the true properties of iron, it's just like the enemy. No matter how nice he is, eventually his true intentions are going to show. And that's the problem with us, is we don't recognize his true intentions until it's too late. But right here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, this is where we teach you the true intentions of our oppressor. With that, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, One West News Desk out of Baltimore, under Captain Saparia. I'm Officer Mathum, holding it down for Captain Saparia, and we get ready to be up out of here. But like I said, we get ready to have history class. We're ready to shut it down. I'm going to set up for history class. Just give me a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back. With that, shalom, Israel.